And we're live.
I get distracted by countdown timers. I'm so sorry. And I just ruined your intro. I'm so sorry. I'm shutting up now.
No, this makes it more interesting. It's the same shit every time. So let's just keep it interesting.
All right.
Oh, guys, thank you so much for coming. Conscious Conversion is a weekly podcast about how we bridge the gap between business and spirit, money and meaning, technology and regeneration in a wildly changing world. In a time of so much polarity and uncertainty, this podcast explores how together we're connecting across the planet, across our differences, and across dimensions as we build the new earth and the new paradigm together. I am your faithful and loving host, Sarah Yamtich, and today I'm so honored and delighted to introduce you to Jill Stanton, a new friend of mine and a dear human who has made a huge impact on the online entrepreneur space. She's the co-founder of the brand's Wealthy Course Creator and Screw the 9 to 5, which you may have heard of. Her and her husband Josh's Slices of the Internet, where they help digital course creators and coaches have bigger launches with less stress. Coined by Forbes as a destination for the up-and-coming online entrepreneurs, Wealthy Course Creator and Screw the 9 to 5 have inspired tens of thousands of entrepreneurs to build wildly profitable businesses and live lives of meaning and purpose. When she's not CEOing, she can be found hanging with her husband, Josh, and their little guy, Kai, in their home in the Cayman Islands. What a life. Thank you so much for being here.
I mean, you're giving me a run for my money in the jungle of Costa Rica, so.
I mean, it's such a blessing to be able to work remotely. Such a blessing.
I don't even know anything different anymore. Like last time I had a job, I was a bartender. So like, how do you do that shit online? I'd be screwed during the 20s.
Bartending online. There's got to be a way.
I would like in the metaverse for sure.
Yeah, there you go. It's all happening. Oh God.
Yeah. But also I screwed up the like whole thank you and welcome. So thank you for having me. I'm stoked to be here.
Aw. You look beautiful too, by the way. For those of you that are watching, Jill Stanton looks gorgeous. And I'm excited to hear what's that?
I said, I promise it's lighting. I have like this much concealer on and I'm faking it.
Well done on the production value. So I love to just dive in deep because it opens sort of the conversation and there's no wrong answers to anything. And then feel free to, shoot it right back at me. This isn't an interview so much as an organic unfolding of discussion. But I want to start with this question of what is your soul's purpose and this incarnation on this planet in this moment?
In this moment, I think I don't know how to answer this really, but like, I always want to like get it right. But I would say that in this moment, like my true intention and the things I'm really trying to lean into and embrace is expansion, like on all levels, expanding my ability to handle the discomfort, expanding my ability and my capacity to handle more customers, more team, more wealth, more enjoyment, more space, more luxury, more all the things. And the final piece of that is one that I recently realized is also expanding my ability to trust in the beautiful unfolding. I realized that to myself the other day when I was kind of having one of those days, like entrepreneurial cave days where you're just like, fuck it all, I'm out. And so I was having one of those days and I realized to myself like, oh my God, if my intention is truly expansion this year, which it is, then I also need to expand my ability to trust in the unfolding because I am the type who likes to like control how it's going to happen or like predict how it's going to happen. And one thing I realized is like when your core need or your core trigger is like control, really the core need under that, I learned this from a book called The Mountain Is You, the core need underneath that is trust. And so once I realized that, that's my new mission is to expand my levels of trust in the unfolding.
Beautiful. And the more you do that, the more you can step into sort of your unique essence and contribution and impact in the world and inspire others to do the same.
Yeah. And I think if I were to like, what am I here to do? I don't know if I have a concrete answer for that, but I feel I've always felt pulled towards, and I have a real knack for connecting people. That's one of the things I love doing the most, mixing my friend groups, introducing people, telling people about other people that I've worked with or whatever, like trying to hook people up. I mean, even like making like little romantic connections. I love like just trying to connect people. And so I have a retreat coming up that's all about that. It's one thing we try to do inside Wealthy Course Creator a lot is connect our members to each other, and just create rad experiences.
Yeah. Last time we talked a little bit about, we had like a friend conversation. Speaking of connections, a mutual friend brought us together, and we had this really lovely conversation. Yeah. I remember you talking about how you were just starting to sort of step into a bit more of a feminine holding of your business. And I'm wondering how much that, into the receiving, and and how much trust that requires, and how much a letting go of control that implies.
Well, Sarah, I'm still working on it. Like I always skew towards the doing. That's what I've known up until now. So all 40 years, I've just always been such a doer. I've labeled myself as a doer. I was always the one that had the stamina and like would work harder than Josh. And like I wore it as a badge of honor, which like definitely didn't make him feel good. And just as I've stripped that away, and allowed other people to come in and do the doing, so that I can flex my like receiving muscles. Because I notice even with little things, like if I'm being really honest and calling myself on all my shit, I just did it when you were like, oh, like Jill looks really cute. And I was like, oh no, like I couldn't even receive the compliment. So just like little things like that, like I'm always on the path to receiving more and to like kind of peeling back the doing, but it's a journey, man. I'm not used to it. So I'm just trying to get better at it.
Yeah. How is Josh at stepping into a role that helps you do that? Is it sort of a mutual journey in that way?
Yeah, like he's wanted me to like calm the fuck down for a long time around the doing and like the putting pressure on myself and all of that kind of stuff. But he's also a doer, right? Like both of us, this is just how we've been in our business for like the last 10 years. And when you've started a business in this way, as we did together, this is now, we had our first business and then we had Screw the 9 to 5. And now we have revamped Screw the 9 to 5 into Wealthy Course Creator. And I've had Millionaire Girls Club. Like it's so hard to unwind this kind of stuff, but he's much better at receiving than I am. He's much more comfortable with more space and doing less than I am, but I'm getting there.
Y'all have been sort of on the cutting edge of, if we think of, so this podcast is about new paradigm, new earth. And I definitely, since starting this agency in 2018 and before that, having been in the online entrepreneur world for a few years, having taken Marie Forleo's B School in 2012, just like being in this online entrepreneur world and very much woman dominated in some aspects. And in some little pieces of it, it can be very woman, and maybe that's not the right, woman centric is maybe a better way to say it. But I consider this having been a very new paradigm movement of sovereignty, of entrepreneurship and solopreneurship is very much an act of sovereignty of getting. And you were sort of on the cutting edge of that with Screw the 9 to 5. And really showing people a way to like get out of your cubicle box where you're staring at a box of light all day long, or of synthetic light all day long, putting things into templates over and over again, and
or like
do something meaningful.
Like staring at Kevin's cubicle wall with his pictures of his kids and his like hairless cat, and you're like, Kevin, get out of my cubicle.
Did you ever even have that kind of life?
I don't know if you said something because you cut out completely.
Oh, shoot. Did you even ever have that kind of life, the like cube life, or did you step straight into bartending?
Yeah. So no, I never had, both Josh and I have never had office jobs, which is kind of the ironic part of screw the 9 to 5. Like I had a 9 to 5 in that, like I worked 9 p.m. till 5 a.m., but I never had a like clocking in at, 8:45. So I was there by 9 a.m., dealing with middle management. Never had that. Both of us very much knew straight out of the gate that is not for us. So I started bartending at like 21, I think it was. And then I stopped at like 29 or so, 30 maybe, when I started my first like business that actually made money. So I had worked in hospitality for so long. Before that, I was a server. And so I started pitching my boss at the bar that I worked at, because I noticed, this was in Australia at the time, I noticed that he was running like classified ads in like a tourist magazine on the Gold Coast. And he had asked me about videos because I was there shooting a web TV show before web TV was really like a big deal. And so he was asking me kind of like tips and strategies. And so I was just like, fuck it, I'm just going to pitch him, because he had 3 venues. And so I pitched him to create his content and social media for him. And he actually said yes to that. And then I quoted $5,000 a month, which I couldn't even believe I had the balls to do that for my like first ever client. And he said yes to that too. So I was like, sweet, I'm out. BTW, I'm not bartending anymore. So that was like my first foray into this solopreneur world. And then right around the time, like maybe a year later, Josh was also getting kind of disenchanted with his business at the time. He had a software business. And both of us were just falling out of love with what we were doing. So we decided to do it to like create a new thing together. And that was literally 10 years ago, almost. It was it was 10 years ago, March of 2012. Shit.
Happy anniversary.
We're celebrating my 10-year anniversary.
You're celebrating your 10-year anniversary right now.
You and I are celebrating my entrepreneur anniversary.
That's amazing. What an honor.
We planned it.
That's so cool though. I mean, you guys, I don't want to, it's not an understatement to say that you guys have been like really cutting edge in that way of like showing people how they can step out of that mundane sort of, some people call it the matrix, how that mundane life where you are following other people's sort of directives and stepping into a world where you're creating your own wealth and you're creating your own livelihood. You can work remotely. You can, it certainly was a big inspiration for me, because I did work in a beige cubicle for a long time. And
you did?
Oh yeah. My heart was never in it. I was always divergent in some way, but, or my heart wasn't totally into it. Like I couldn't have continued as long as I did if I didn't have a little heart involved. But anyway, it's been a big inspiration for me, like the work that you have done and that many others have done of like sort of leading the way into women's entrepreneurship and wealth creation. And also, many women have been scared to open themselves up to receive money for whatever reason.
I can vibe with that.
And I wonder if you can talk about that some, because I know that's a big topic.
Yeah, like in what respect? Like my own white knuckling of money, like trying to understand how to like wrap my head around what money actually is and all that. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, I would love to hear how you perceive what money actually is and how you've what breakthrough you've had.
It's so different. It's gone in so many different stages. Like when I was a bartender, I was so frivolous with money. I wish someone would have told me or taught me about money. Like I wish they would teach that shit to kids in school. Like that would have helped me, because I made so much money bartending. Plus at the same time, I was also modeling. So I was banking for someone who was like, how old was I? Like fucking 25 maybe when I was modeling and bartending. I was doing like 70, 80 G a year. And I was just blowing it all. I had nothing left. So I never had any scarcity mindset, I don't think, because I was always like, I always make money and I'm making so much of it. It's great. Like I don't have anything to worry about. And then when I started adulting, once I met Josh, and then he came from a very blue collar background. And then I think our money beliefs collided, because then I grew up in a household which was not like, my dad was a principal and my mom was a teacher. So obviously we weren't like rich or anything or well off, but we did okay. But it was still always like, we can't afford that. Money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are greedy, that kind of thing. And so learning to unwind a lot of that. And I don't think it even registered for me as a problem until about 2017, when I was in an emotional spiral and pretty much imploding from obviously I'm imploding from the inside out, but I was just self-sabotaging left, right, and center. I was about to have my first kid. I felt trapped in the business. Like, I would fucking refresh my bank account like multiple times a day and try to like game plan what would happen if we lost all our money all of a sudden, which is crazy because like, how do you lose hundreds of thousands of dollars out of nowhere? But like, still, I was like, command R. And so that was my first like foray into like, I don't know if this obsessive behavior is that healthy. And so I started reading, actually asked my buddy at the time, I asked this dude at the time, my buddy, James Wedmore, what books he would recommend I started with. And he suggested a book called Dollars Flow to Me Easily. And that was my first ever book around money mindset and thinking about identity and how to think about money and what money actually is. And, just removing your attention from things that don't really feel light or enjoyable. And it was just like, it was the gateway for me. It was a gateway drug. And then from there, like, I just went down the Richard Dot's, that's the author, Richard Dot's of Money Flows, Dollars Flow to Me Easily. Then I went into Joe Dispenza, T. Harv Eker of Happy Pocket Full of Money. And then I just started learning and getting better and like putting the reps in. And so now I realize what it is. Like, I envision money to be like this beautiful, like, I don't know why it's a feminine energy to me, but it's just like this beautiful feminine light being that just like wants to love on me and, just support me and guide me and just have my back. Like, one of my favorite reminders is money exists to support me. And so I just try to always keep in line with that because life is just so good when you let it be easy. And I think one of the things that we kind of like pump the brakes on in that respect is money. Like, so many of us don't let money be easy for us because it's so emotionally charged. We have so much shame and fear wrapped up with it. I think that's some of the best work you can do as an entrepreneur.
That was wonderful. And it reminded me of a conversation I had the other night with a friend of mine here. I'm in Costa Rica in La Ecovia. I was having a conversation with my friend Monica, who's also a businesswoman. She sells CBD oil, really good stuff. Anyway, I was talking to her about some of my own money blocks, and she encouraged me to have this meditation that I think you would like, which is like, imagine you're sitting in a room in your bedroom or something, and this personification of money walks in the room. How do you feel? And like, get really, really deep in how you feel. And then imagine how you feel when somebody that you don't particularly trust walks in the door. And then imagine how you feel when your best friend that you love and adore and trust walks in the door, and try to find a way to feel that way about money, that trusting relationship, that loving relationship as if it's your friend.
I love that.
And that really reminded, what you just said reminded me of that conversation of like sort of personifying and developing a friend relationship or even a lover relationship with money.
Yeah. One of the exercises I would get some of our members to do when we had a different offer, we have like a 6-month program now, but when we had like this 3-week coaching sprint, I would always do the mindset piece of it because that's outside of sales, that's my role in the business, is a lot of mindset stuff. And so I got them to write a letter to money as if it was like a love relationship, like a boyfriend or girlfriend, husband, spouse, whatever. And just the breakthroughs that come through with that when they write in that way or that tone, it was so powerful for people because they don't realize the resentment they have towards money if money was a person, and how they've been treating it and what they've been blaming it for and how they think about it and what they say about it. It was like such a stark realization for them to be like, oh my God, of course money's hard for me. Look at how I think about it. Look at how I feel about it. Look how I relate to it. So I love that analogy, or I love that idea for that meditation. And the second you said it, I was like, ooh, what would she look like to me?
Yeah. So I mean, and you considering money a feminine energy, I think is also really, I think that's interesting.
For sure.
And I hadn't really thought of money as a feminine energy.
No.
And maybe you could, I mean, I don't know that I'd given it a gender yet at this point, but I like that. I mean, I have made the this sort of connection between the color green when you think of the American dollar and nature. So there's like the jungle is green, the foliage is green, and money is green. And there's this abundance of all of that around me that nurtures me and holds me and takes care of me. And it's also the color of the heart chakra. So I've tried to connect that green of money and the green of plants with my heart.
I love that.
And so in that sense, that feels quite feminine.
Yeah, I guess because like when I think of the energy of money, it feels very innocent, loving, kind, playful. And I just associate that with feminine. Like, I just feel like if money was a person, they just want to love on you so much. Like, I envision money loving on me the way that I want to love on my kid. Like, I just love him so fucking much. I would do anything for him. I want him to have everything. You know, I view money in that. Like, I think that's the energy of money. It's just sometimes I need to allow it.
Money is mother.
Money is mother. That sounds like an ayahuasca thing.
It does.
Mother Eye is like, what do you say?
I know. Oh, amazing. Well, I mean, that's some really, I think that's some really important stuff. I mean, I think that there's a lot. I also grew up in a trailer with a single mom where we didn't have a scarcity mindset, but we had a spend everything you've got mindset. Like, always breaking even and being happy about it because we liked the luxury of going out to eat or buying nice things, you know, spending your tax refund. And so it's been,
discomfort with having.
Yeah.
Like discomfort with having,
with holding on to
more
it.
than enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Did that play out in like, as you got older?
Yeah, I mean, certainly, like as I draw more awareness to it and I bring more awareness to that whole thing of like, at first it was like, no, I'm great because I don't have a scarcity mindset, so I'm good, you know. And then it was like, oh, but I actually need to learn how to hold instead of being this sieve that it just flows through.
Yeah, and like be with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then I think that also I have associated money with masculinity. You know, with the sort of a provider sort of
that's true,
archetype.
Actually. I haven't thought about it like that, but it's so true.
Yeah. So if a woman has some sort of like rejection, abandonment, daddy issues, and they're associating money with the masculine, there's a whole other thing to play with and to get to.
See, I grew up with my mom who I also like. She always had the best of intentions, of course. Like, I feel like all our parents are always only ever trying to do the best thing for us, even if that feels fucked up. And like, it is, you know, everyone has a certain experience. My mom loved to spend money and hide it from my dad. Like, we would go back to school shopping and she'd be like, don't tell your dad what we spent. And so I always associated like, woo, we're going to go out and spend money. But like, don't be honest about how much you spent because like then we're going to have hell to pay. Yeah. So I'm sure there's stuff there that I need to even unwind that I didn't even think of until like right now.
Amazing. How do you feel like, so this podcast is largely about, like I said, new paradigm. And I'm wondering when we look to like what the future our children are going to carry forward for us, how do we see the economy and money in the new paradigm? How do we see it operating?
Dude, I don't even know what the next year is going to look like anymore. Like, after the clusterfuck we've been through over the last 2 years, I'm like, I have no clue what to expect anymore. Like, I assume it's going to be online. I assume it's going to be digital. I assume there's always going to be like some new crisis going on, but I have literally no clue what world my kid's going to grow up in. It's like, I mean, I always would have had him. I would never take that back. But if I had known what was coming, I feel like I would have been like, do I want to bring a kid into this? Like, I don't know. Will it get better? I assume so, because we always want to like expand into like bigger levels of greatness and always having more, but I have no clue what he's going to grow up in. Like, I assume it's going to be virtual reality on some level. He's going to like hang in the metaverse or have like a metaverse business or something like that. I don't know. Maybe he's like hawking NFTs. Like, I have no clue what to expect for him. But I do want to prioritize teaching him about money and about sales and about solving problems and about taking radical ownership for his life and self-responsibility and compassion and encouragement. Like, there's values I want to instill in him that will carry him through whatever weirdness the world's going through or whatever evolutions or shifts are presenting themselves to him as he's growing up and experiencing more of life. So I don't know what it's going to look like, but I just hope that, you know, we equip him with the awareness and the personal power to make the best out of any surroundings he's in.
Right. And the values. I mean, that's a wonderful thing I think about having a kid is it really makes me walk my talk. I mean, not that I'm 100% able to do that all the time, but like, I'm really like, okay, so how do I want the world to be in 20 years? And how can I sort of model that for my child as much as humanly possible? Yeah. You know, if I want a peaceful planet and a peaceful humanity, how can I model that for him? If I want to have a wealthy and abundant life that is freely, you know, that is generous and yet boundaried, you know, how can I model that for my child? So there's something I think really, you know, I hear you. There's sort of a mystery unfolding that we have no idea what's going to happen. And the best that we can really do is to be present right now. And especially if we have kids, to be present to helping them to have the values that we want to be carried forward or that we pray will carry forward.
For sure. I'm so lucky that like my kid just turned 4. So I'm hoping he'll never remember this part. And I'm so grateful he never had to go to school with like masks or anything like that. Like, I'm so beyond grateful he didn't experience that. And as he gets older, like, these are the conversations I can't wait to have with him. Like, I can't remember if I said this to you on our first call, but like, I'm just not a baby/toddler mom. It really isn't my forte. I'm like, what do I do with this? It's not even like, it's not even talking. It's not moving. Like, I don't know what to do here. Like, I want to have conversations. I want to like uncover his blocks with him. Like, this is the part I'm so excited for. Like, now that he's like communicating and reasoning and we can logic with him and all that kind of stuff, like, that is where I think Josh and I will shine as parents, as we get to like kind of own like a side of us that we've built a strong skill set in, which is coaching, you know, self-awareness, like a lot of inner work. I can't wait to guide him through that.
That's so funny because I say the same thing, that I'm not a kid person. I love my child, but I'm not really that much of a kid person. And so and because of that, and I don't think it's that I'm not a kid person. I think I just, you know, I think the way that we raise children in our mainstream culture has made kids not that fun to be around necessarily. Like, I raised Indy, you know, from a very young age on philosophy. Like, he told me what happens when we die when he was 3 years old.
What?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Like,
what did he say?
Crazy cool. He said, so we were in the bathtub, not jacuzzi. And we had just gotten back from a trip to Costa Rica. It was before we had moved here. He was 3 years old. And I asked, he said, all the dinosaurs are dead. What's dead in Spanish? And I said, well, it's muerto. And he said, all the dinosaurs are muerto. And then I said, just really quick, I don't know, I just had this impulse. And I said, what happens when we die? And we'd never talked about death except like try to get the bug outside instead of killing it if you can. You know what I mean? Like, we very passing. And he said, our bodies get killed and we turn to light and change colors. And
wow.
I was just like,
I feel like that's some real shit though. I feel like
some real
because
shit.
They're like, I feel like because they're still pure, unadulterated source, like that's actually the truth.
No, I felt it. I mean, I had goosebumps and I was just like, where did you get this? Never mind. Like, keep playing, do what you're doing. Like, so cool. I forget where I was headed with. Oh, just that he has been such a delight to raise because I am my full self with him. I engage in spiritual philosophy with him. I do as much as I can, probably starting around age 3 or 4. And now he's 7 and he's like, it's really fun as they get older. People like, you probably can relate to this when people are like, oh, hold on to them at this age. They're so cute. And you're kind of like, I want to meet him when he's 10.
Yeah, totally. Dude, I was like, yes, they are so cute. 100%, 100%. And if I had to get like hit in the face or a toy thrown at me one more fucking time, I would have lost my mind because I did not do well during that stage where they're like hitting and they're wanting their own dominance and their own independence. I respect it, obviously, and I like tried to be there for him as much as possible, but fuck, it was like really frustrating to deal with it. And I'm just like so excited to find my way through this part now where he's like a little kid. He's like a little boy.
Yeah, you can have like real conversations with him. I even told Indy, I'm not a playing mom. I'm a snuggling and talking mom.
I'm a cool mom.
I don't really play. If you want to play, go over there with the kids. Or there's an adult over there that seems to like to play with children.
Oh, that's very refreshing to hear because Kai loves to play. He's a little boy, he loves to play. And I'm always like, like I will if I have to. But like,
you know, this is going to be controversial to say. But what helps me, or what used to help me whenever I had to get on the floor and play, was taking just like a couple puffs of marijuana. And then I get on the... And then I get wine too, one or the other. I get on the floor and I'm like, I love coloring with you. This is so fun. Yeah, let's play Legos.
You're like, Indy, isn't this trippy? Look at these colors, man.
Totally. New paradigm parenting, or maybe something else.
Yeah, it's like we play at 420.
I want to know, I want our listeners to hear more about what you do in the world. Like obviously I know you from Screw the 9 to 5, but you've evolved since then. And I wonder if you could tell us about what you do now, what your offerings are.
Yeah. So we've shifted and evolved as we like reimagined our brand. So we have like a full 6-month program that is kind of like this coaching agency hybrid. That was like Josh's vision. So we teach paid launches, and paid launches are simply like for courses and course creators and coaches or membership site owners who run live launches in this online business space. I mean, they don't have to be in the online business space, but you know, we all operate in the online business space. So they do live launches. Most people teach to do that for free. We are not about that life, as it just like, it's no longer working as well as it used to. You know, we have to like upgrade our strategies and our game if we're going to stay in the live launch space and really maximize profits and whatnot. And so we teach paid launches, which is essentially like running launch experiences, but instead of doing like a free challenge, you charge a small entry ticket on the front. And that allows you to prioritize working with customers versus freebie seekers. And the beautiful part about that is you're working with people who have skin in the game. So they're more likely to show up, engage, participate in the experience, in the launch, get results, like do the work, get results, and then more often than not, convert into the back end program versus people who sign up for free shit, forget about it, or they're like, I'm busy, whatever, it was free, so I'm not gonna like, I'll get the next one, or I'll watch the replays, and then they disengage and they don't convert. So the whole having skin in the game piece is a huge element. Second, it helps to pay back your ad spend. So if you're like me and you like organic marketing and it is what it is, but you'd also like rather cut checks to go faster and like give money to the traffic store, i.e. Facebook and IG, to get in front of the people who are perfectly aligned. This model also helps you pay back or recoup some of your ad spend, typically, between 50 to 90% of your ad spend. Some people end up being in profit on the front. And then again, your profit margins are higher, your conversion rates are higher. It's just a better experience. So we have a 6-month coaching agency hybrid where we do, one-on-one coaching, group masterminds, and then we have a full suite of done-for-you services, and it supports course creators and coaches who want to run live launches. So
amazing.
Really stoked about
I love it because it covers so many bases.
It's really, I'm like, this was Josh's vision, and I'm just so grateful he had the guts to even like say, what would it look like if we started doing a lot of these tasks for people? And at first I was like, what? I do not have time to do tasks for people. I'm not fucking doing that. And he was like, no, we'll hire a services team. And I was like, oh, right. And so I'm so grateful he had that vision because it's completely altered the trajectory of our business. And like our clients get better results than any other program we've ever had. So it's just so cool to watch them enjoy it and watch them grow and scale their businesses, make all this money, like attract badass clients, hire teams, like get their time back. It's so cool to watch. And then Josh and I get to do what we do best, which is show up and coach, and our team runs the rest. So I'm mad grateful that we made the pivot.
Yeah, it sounds like you're in really deep alignment. Like it sounds like after years, 10 years, we'll say, since it is your anniversary episode, after 10 years in this industry, it sounds like you've really sort of found your offering in your alignment, at least for now.
Yes. I don't think I've ever felt more aligned with an offer. Same with Josh. Like both of us just feel, and I see the path finally. Like when we were selling $2,000 courses, like both of us couldn't really see the path to how do you make multiple millions of dollars with like strong profit margins when you're selling 2K courses and it costs you thousands of dollars to get people into your free challenges, right? Like what does that even look like? And so when we found our way to this, like so much stuff just, I joked to Josh because he had the idea, I don't know, 3-4 days after we moved to Cayman Islands. And I swear to God, you land in Cayman Islands, I swear it's like a portal here because it's just the most abundant energy I've ever experienced. Just the way of thinking, the level of polish here just inspired like a new way of approaching our business. And so I'm forever grateful that he even murmured the words, what happens if we did it for them? Because it just opened up a whole new chapter.
Amazing. And I also love that you just described Cayman Islands as a portal, because I feel like places are total portals. And this is kind of why I like the idea of being semi-nomadic. I wanted to do that anyway. And then, the whole COVID thing kind of put a damper on that for a minute. But I'm now looking at like having a home base in Costa Rica for 6 months out of the year. And then for the other 6 months, like just exploring other parts of the world and finding these portals and seeing what impact it has on me and my business and my trajectory and my family. And because every place, just like every person, has a distinct sort of flavor and impact. And it's so fun to explore.
Agreed. I wholeheartedly agree. And like what a cool upbringing your kid will have.
I know. I'm really
experience
I'm proud,
the world that way.
Thank God.
I'm killing
God
it.
And Goddess.
I'm killing it as a mom.
Well, I don't know about that, but thank the source and the powers that be and the whoever's in charge, my higher self, that I have a kid who is so adventurous and so up for anything. And his name is Indiana. And I think that just even giving him that name probably helped sort of seal the deal that he was going to be a good travel adventure companion. Because not all kids
said to me the other.
hang.
I'm so sorry.
Go ahead. No, I was just saying not all kids could hang with that, but he totally can. But what? Go ahead.
Well, and so someone just said to me, where did I hear this? Someone just said this to me, like kids, when we give them their names, it's almost like their personalities raise or like match that. Right. And so the fact that you named him Indiana, and now he's like this adventurous spirit, and he's bold and he's brave and he's courageous and he's exploratory. Like that's so cool. That's such a beautiful example of what, like someone just said that to me and I was like, like, I guess like, what does Jill mean? I don't know. But like when I looked up Kai's name, it means strength. And he's one of the strongest kids I know. Like he never gets sick. He never cries. He's just tough and he's happy. And so I'm like, maybe that's
doing a good job, Mama. Well, maybe you should look up Jillian and see if there's any ancient goddesses named Jillian or something. There's gotta be.
Let's look it up. Jillian with a G too. So that's,
I mean, all of the derivatives of Jillian.
I'd expect.
Totally. I'm sure there's an ancient goddess.
As it's not
like
cue all the researching as soon as this is over.
I'm on it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna be in touch with you as soon as we're done. I'm gonna be in touch with ideas for what your name means for sure. Speaking of portals and places and digital nomadism and remote working and retreats, you have a retreat coming up that's super exciting. It's all full at this point, but it's but I'm sure that you're going to want to do more of them. It's next week, so it's definitely full at the time of this recording. And I have a few friends that are going, so I just feel sort of excited with you and them. and it's coming to Costa Rica. So I'm also excited because you're coming to this particular portal. But can you talk a little bit about that retreat, and because it's the first of its kind that you're doing? Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Millionaire Girls Club, and it's a luxury retreat series for women making $1 million plus in their businesses. And I started it because back in 2017, which is when I first started like kind of breaking down my old ways, I went to this event called Mastermind Talks, and it's run by another Canadian named Jason Gaynard. And it was like a fantastic retreat. I was so blown away. Like the caliber of it was amazing. And I noticed that all the women would kind of find themselves and all the dudes would go clump together for the most part. Obviously there's like exceptions to that, but with seating arrangements and stuff, there was always like women put together, all of that. And I realized like, this doesn't exist for just women. Like this kind of retreat, this like luxurious experience, like great conversations, cool speakers, rad activities and stuff like that I don't know of anything like that exists for women. And so it just like planted a seed in my head. And then I got pregnant at MMT at the retreat. And I was like, okay, let's forget about that whole retreat right now, because I'm sure as shit not going to do it. Now I'm pregnant out of nowhere. So I'm like, should probably deal with that first. And then fast forward 2 years later, Josh and I had just made another like quite bold choice in our business to shut down everything that no longer served us after the birth of our son, when we had this like huge identity shift. And we were in Bali with myself, Josh, and Kai. And Josh and I were on our way to the co-working space, and I was on the back of a bike, and I was like, I wish there was cool women who like rad women entrepreneurs at the co-working space, because it was all dudes. And then I was like, remember that MMT idea I had, like Mastermind Talks idea I had. And then I just kind of sat on it, didn't do anything with it. And like 3 days later, I was in our villa in Bali, and I think we were making dinner or something, or having dinner. And I was like, ding, Millionaire Girls Club. And I was like, holy shit, I love that name. Like, what can I do with that? And so I kind of sat on it, because in my past, I've had some pretty strained relationships with women for well over 10 years. I had like some really strong struggles in school and whatnot. And it kind of like just turned me off the idea of only serving women and like bringing a group of high powered women together in a luxury setting that I then have to facilitate. Like that triggered all the sister wounds for me. And so luckily I started talking about it to a couple girlfriends of mine, and they were like, that sounds sick. Like I would love to do something like that. And I was like, oh really? So it's not just me? And then I finally got out of my way by the end of 2020 and finally hit the gas with it. And so it's an attempt for us all to have meaningful connections, badass experiences, a whole lot of luxury, disengage from the daily demands of our lives, and take care of us for once. I don't know if you find this, but I find that, you know, the more success you create in your business, the smaller your circle gets, because not everyone understands the certain sacrifices or boundaries or, you know, things that we do on this journey. And so, you know, we kind of tend to gravitate towards the people who get it. And for the most part, those people are few and far between. So I'm excited for this. I'm excited to see what magic transpires. For the most part, almost every single one of the women found their way to me in some capacity, outside of like maybe 4 chicks that are coming out of the 14. So it's really quite cool and serendipitous how it came to be. So I'm excited to experience it.
Again, you're in such deep alignment that everyone's just coming to you. That's awesome.
It was quite a cool experience. I said to Josh, like, I've never sold anything this easy in my life. Like it was 10G, which that was my first high ticket thing that I had ever sold on my end, by myself. And then to have it fill so quickly and so easily, I was just like, whoa, that's so fun. The magic that can happen when you truly step into something that's meant for you.
Well, congratulations. It's beautiful.
Did I sound like such a like braggy dickhead? Like,
nope.
Be honest with me.
Nope.
Okay. It's just so easy to like charge $10,000.
No,
I feel like it sounds douchey.
I feel like you're like, it's a beautiful moment for you, because what that means again is that you have created something that people are hungry for, that women are hungry for. And it's in alignment with your own soul's purpose and with what they want. And you're coming to Costa Rica, and that's freaking awesome. Yeah.
Pure Vida bitches.
I'm thrilled for you. And I want to tell people how they can find you. There's the gram. There's your the gram. I don't know. The Millionaire Girls Club is one.
Yes. So I want to say I'm on the gram. I check DMs. I really don't post. I need to get better. I desire to get better. I can't make promises, but the best way to connect with me on the gram is over at our Wealthy Course Creator IG. So that's just at Wealthy Course Creator. Or if you want to like explore this paid launch system, we have a crash course, and it's paidlaunchformula.com. So it's under $100. You can grab it. It comes with a free strategy call. It's a badass program.
I made it back.
Oh, okay. I was like, should I say like, I'm just here by myself?
I'm surprised you stuck around so long. You're an angel. All right.
Well, I didn't know what to do. I was like, we didn't do our sign off.
Well, okay. So I'll somehow clean that up.
Okay.
And
because it's literally me being like, for a good 30 seconds, like, where'd she go?
I've been there before. I've been there. I don't know what happened. I just dropped off the internet for a minute.
Hashtag Costa Rica.
Anyway, here we are.
Jungle internet.
I don't know how far you got in before I fell off, but here's the jungle. I'm in the jungle. And we were talking about how people could find you.
Yes. And I was saying, I want to be better at the gram, but I do check DMs. So Wealthy Course Creator, at Wealthy Course Creator is our profile on Instagram. Or if you do want to check out what paid launches are all about, we have a crash course. It's under $100. It comes with a free strategy call one-on-one. And so that's over at paidlaunchformula.com if you are intrigued by the whole paid launch game.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being with me. This was a delight. I'm sorry that it got technologically strange at the end. Hopefully everything works out.
I don't even know if you should like keep that like weird little part where I'm just like internally freaking out, being like, should I just end it myself?
Well, I thought you were going to sing and dance if that happened.
I just was like, oh, maybe I'll just do a quick task while I wait for her to come back.
I'm just really hoping that that we didn't lose anything.
I mean, mine says it was still recording the whole time.
Okay. So nothing has blipped on your side.
What, sorry?
Okay. Nothing has changed on your side. Well, I'll figure it out. We're going to figure out how to cut that thing and make it good.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yes. It doesn't even have an option here for me to stop the recording. So I don't know. I think I came in under a guest. We're going to see. I don't know. Riverside might be doing some weird shit right now. Okay. Oh, well, I'm going to learn.
Do you want to do like a just like quick like retake of the ending? Or are you like, fuck it, we're keeping the nitty gritty and we're just going to roll it?
Are you okay with that? Do you have 5 more minutes?
What, sorry?
I said, do you have 5 more minutes?
Sorry, you cut out. I didn't hear you.
Okay. I say my internet's too stupid. Never mind. I'll figure it out.
No stress.
Thank you. Mwah. I'll be in touch.
Thanks,
when
Sarah.
the episode's about to air. Have so much fun next week. Sending
Thanks,
you so
sister.
much love.
I appreciate
and
you
gratitude.
having me. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.